Afternoon. The first item on the agenda is the election of chair. Can I have nominations, please, for chair?
I'll nominate Councillor Wells.
Are there any further nominations? No, I declare Councillor Wells as chair of the subcommittee this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Good afternoon, everybody. Councillors have any interest to declare this afternoon? Councillor Jordan?
No.
Councillor Clark? No. Thank you. So welcome everybody to the meeting. My name is Councillor Wells. I'm the chair of this licensing subcommittee hearing. Before we start, I would like to remind you of a few housekeeping arrangements. If you wish to speak, please can you indicate that you wish to do so. In the event of a fire alarm sounding during the meeting, please stand and follow the meeting administrator to the fire evacuation point outside the building. The meeting is being filmed on the Council's YouTube channel for live and subsequent broadcast. The whole of the meeting will be filmed, except where there are confidential exempt items. If you make a representation to the meeting, you will be deemed to have consented to being filmed. By entering the meeting, you are also consenting to being filmed and to the possible use of those images and sound recordings for webcasting and/or training purposes. Thank you. And just to say, of the three buttons you have, the middle one with the web icon is the one to press if you wish to speak or when you're invited to speak. Thank you. So in the room with me here at Pathfinder House, I have the following. I have Councillor Jordan and Councillor Clark on the far right, who are members of the subcommittee. I have Ian Hawkins, the Council's legal advisor, to my right. Democratic Services, represented by Claire. Excuse me. So I have the licensing officer, Mr. Del Orificio, on my far right there, and Michelle Bishop also from licensing on the right. Okay. Sorry, I was supposed to ask you to introduce yourselves, which you may do so if you wish. Hopefully I got that correct. Yeah. Okay. So with those now representing the applicant, please now introduce yourselves. Please state your name and in what capacity you are here to represent the applicant. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, hi. Yes, I'm Ganesan Sadiskaran. I'm the DPS call and the past to 15 years I was working with as a Tesco Express store manager. I have already knowledge of licensing, all the objective and all the things. I've been 15 years, nearly 20 years. I was working in the retail field, so that's my experience. That's me. This is my wife. Mayuri.
I'm Mayuri Sadiskaran, Southern Cabin owner.
Okay, Anil Bowser from Licensing Hub, representing the applicants.
I will now ask interested parties to introduce themselves. Please state your name and who you are representing. Please also indicate if you intend to address the subcommittee this afternoon. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amrinder Singh. I'm the owner of number 3 Greenways West 1. I'm in this trade for last 5 years. We're serving the people around the Sotri, but I already got more than 15 years experience of licensing. And today I bring two of them like representative, they can talk to you regarding objections.
Sorry, can you just clarify who is accompanying you again? Are they,
Representative Tokir, so they can talk.
are they customers or employees or?
Representative, he's one of my old friend, and I don't know about him. He's just come with us.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's everybody we've covered. So the licensing subcommittee procedure, you have received within the hearing papers that were circulated to you a copy of the licensing subcommittee procedure. The hearing will commence under this procedure. All representations that have been made should be relevant to the 4 licensing objectives, which are the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. As you will see, in the interest of fairness, the procedure provides for an equal amount of time for the applicant and the interested parties to address the subcommittee. This is usually 20 minutes, in which in the case of interested parties, we can share between those in attendance. However, only one of you is, Mr. Singh, you are the interested party who has been made aware of us, so I will expect you to be the primary interested party in making comments. And if your people with you want to help, then they can amplify your points, but they can't make their own separate points.
Yeah,
Okay.
Tokir will talk to you about this, all things. He talk on behalf of me. Mr. Tokir, yeah?
Okay.
Sorry, can I take that gentleman's name, please?
Tokir.
No, I will. Can I introduce myself?
Yes.
Yeah.
You were invited to earlier, but carry on, yes.
Yeah. Coming on.
You're okay,
Yeah,
yes.
My name is Mohammed Tokir. I'm representing Mr. Singh today. I'm a business advisor. My organization is called Business Advice Bureau. So our aim is to make businesses compliant and to be successful and profitable to increase revenue for the government. And I'm representing him today. As his English is not very good, he's asked me to speak on his behalf. Thank you.
Thank you for that, yeah. So as mentioned, there'll be 20 minutes for each side, and in your case, it'd be shared between those in attendance and also for the applicant. On this occasion, I'll allocate 20 minutes to the applicant and 20 minutes to the interested parties across the parties that are here today. Do any parties need any sort of clarification at this stage? Is it all clear to you what I've just said? Yeah, okay, thank you. So item 5, the hearing. I will now invite the licensing officer to present the application. Thank you, William.
Thank you, Chair. This is an application for a new premises license for Sawtrey News Cabin, 1 Greenways, Sawtrey, PE28 5UR. Huntingdonshire District Council, as the licensing authority, has received an application for a new premises license from Mayuri Sathsiskaran for the premises Sawtrey News Cabin, 1 Greenways, Sawtrey, PE28 5UR. The application was received on the 24th of October 2024. As required under the Licensing Act 2003, notice of the application was advertised by blue notices displayed at or near the premises from the 25th of October 2024 and in the local newspaper on the 6th of November 2024. The 28-day consultation period ended on the 21st of November. A copy of the application is attached as Appendix A, which is the application itself, and Appendix B is the plan. Copies of the notices and a site plan are also attached as appendices to this report. The premises license application is applying for the following activities: supply of alcohol for off sales, so that's for consumption off of the premises. Monday to Saturday, 0600 hours to 2300 hours, and Sunday, 0600 hours to 2200 hours. The hours open to the public listed on the application are Monday to Saturday, 0600 hours to 2300 hours, and Sunday, 0600 hours to 2200 hours. Section M of the application form addresses the 4 licensing objectives. Any proposals made in this section are normally translated directly into enforceable conditions that will be attached to the premises license. paragraphs 8.41 to 8.49, and Section 10 of the Home Office guidance issued under Section 182 refer to the operating schedule and the license conditions. As part of the consultation, the responsible authorities, as determined under the Licensing Act 2003, were consulted on the application. Their responses can be seen in summary at Appendix C. During the period for representation, a total of 1 valid representation was received from other persons. The representation was deemed borderline and therefore accepted for consideration in line with the guidance issued by Section 182 of the Licensing Act. This is attached as Appendix D, and that, for clarity, Appendix D is the representation. A person who has submitted a relevant representation is entitled to address the licensing subcommittee at the hearing and ask questions of any other party appearing at the hearing. Not all matters raised within the representation may be relevant matters for consideration under the Licensing Act 2003. On this occasion, mediation was not possible. The licensing authority must carry out its functions under the Act with a view to promoting the licensing objectives. Each objective has equal importance, and they are as follows: the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. The subcommittee must have regard to its statement of licensing policy, any statutory guidance issued under Section 182 of the Licensing Act 2003, the Human Rights Act 1988, and the Live Music Act 2012. The Council must also fulfill its obligations under Section 17 of the Crime and Disorder Act 1998 and do all that is reasonable to prevent crime and disorder in its district. In making a decision, this application must be determined on its individual merits, having regard to the representations and supporting documents included as part of the report, along with additional information considered relevant at the hearing. As part of the decision process, the subcommittee is required to give its reasons for any decision arrived at. Where the licensing authority considers that action under its statutory powers is appropriate, it may take any of the following steps: grant the license as applied for, refuse the application, add additional conditions to the premises license, exclude any licensable activities applied for, or amend dates and times of licensable activities applied for. Any decision made by the subcommittee must be reasonable and proportionate, and it must promote the licensing objectives. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, William. Do members of the subcommittee, Councillor Jordan and Clark, have any questions for the licensing officer? Councillor Jordan?
Thank you for that. I take it they have a licence at the moment. And what type of licence and how long has that been in place, please? Just for the record.
Yeah, just to clarify, this is for a new license. There isn't an existing license in force. Yeah, it's for the grant of a new premises license. No, that's fine. Thank you.
Do any officers present have any questions for the licensing officer? Okay. Does the applicant or his representative have any questions for the licensing officer? So,
I'd like to ask the licensing officers involved, did they receive any other documents that the panel got to see? We had 3 different PDFs sent through, and I just wondered if the panel had the opportunity to see the other documentation. Thank you.
Chair.
sorry, William.
I was just going to answer the question, Chair, in that we did receive the documents in question, and that's been forwarded to our legal advisor for consideration. So the legal advisor and the chair will be able to comment further on that. But we did receive and forward those on.
So the committee has not had the opportunity to look at these documents because of the late submission. You are going to be given 20 minutes to state your case, and I think hopefully within that 20-minute period you should be able to cover all of the factors that you wish to cover in support of your application. So I think that the fact that we haven't had the opportunity to review these documents in detail shouldn't affect this hearing. As I say, you will have plenty of time to make all the points that you want to make. Okay, thank you. Do you have any other questions for the licensing officer? Okay. Do any of the interested parties have any questions for the licensing officer? Thank you. I will now ask the applicant and his representatives to address the subcommittee for not more than 20 minutes and to call any witnesses if relevant. As I mentioned, this is your opportunity to state your case for the licence and cover all the points that you need to make. And I will be timing you for a 20-minute period to making your case. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just going to make a general introduction to the applicant and DPS, and they will have the opportunity to speak as well. But this is an application for a new license, as you've been already told. I just want to introduce Mr. Sadish Karan. In fact, he's the proposed DPS. His record standing is actually, he received his personal license between 2005 and 2018. So he's been a personal license holder for quite some number of years. So in fact, next year, it's 19 years since he's had a personal license. He's actually had 3 other businesses. These can be verified. They were licensed businesses in London, in the Barbican area, in Rugby, and in Chelmsford. All of these can be verified. He was the license holder in all of those business premises. Okay. Furthermore, he's been granted the permission from the landlord in these shop of parade. A parade of shops, they have 3 takeaways, convenience store, and a post office. And the landlord is the same, but he's been given the permission on his lease to apply happily by the landlord. So he's been given that permission already. Okay. Now, as you know, no objections have been received from the responsible authorities, which is very important at this stage to understand. So all of the responsibilities have no hesitation or concerns with regards to this application in its shape as it is now. Okay. Although Mr. Sadish Karan has been running this store for the last 2 years, he hasn't applied previously. It's because he didn't feel that he needed to. But having conversations with the landlord, they said that's fine, him to go ahead and apply. Now, he runs this business with his family and staff. He's trained them very well in other licensing activities as he does, namely tobacco selling and vape selling, because they're still under regulations as far as licensing is concerned not to sell to underage people. So he's been doing that anyway. And the information that was sent to you, in fact, one of the PDFs was all the training that's been done. This can be verified in live because he's got the original documents with him. Age verification, training, health and safety, all the usual kind of measures that businesses undertake. So those are all in place. But importantly, he's also got his cameras in place that are recording for 1 month, which is 28 days, I should say, not exact 1 month. But the Challenge 25, which is important, part of the age verification policy, they are also in place. So all of those which you've actually got in the original application, you'll see the 4 licensing objectives there, and they're all in place as we speak. Not that they're going to be in place afterwards, they've already been implemented. Okay? So at this stage, I'll pause there and let Mr. Sadish Karan speak a little bit because we've still got time.
Yeah, according to my previous experience, I'm already making everything in place now. So even though I've got a good reputation with the, my community where I am Sautri, so I'm normally part of the community. I'm working with the shoulder to shoulder every day. You know, whoever the communities are there, they know me very well. Even I'm supporting both the local football clubs and the local schools, and that what else? My wife being both that charity is running as well. We are part of the family of the community. That's these ideas of my community, my people, customers, they bring it. They need it for one-stop experience to my shop, because of currently I have it for only for the news agents, which is only news agents and chocolates and drinks. So now the world has changed. We had to change it as well. So now currently is out in the parallel. I'm not running for the fairly trade. My shops only have it for the news agent and the chocolates and the rings, few groceries. That's how we have it now. The which is next door, which is my objections. They have it everything in place. The post office, off license, sweets, kid sweets, greeting card, everything. Here they have it. So even those are previous their lease conditions, they are not allowed to selling both any kid sweets or greeting card or whatever it is. So what I'm selling that. So they are doing that. I didn't put any objection or I didn't ask any questions because of we are trading that healthy competition. So that's why I'm here to talk about myself, how we are running the business in the community.
Okay. All right. I'll continue. How many? Have we got 10 minutes? 15 minutes, all right. Thank you. So basically, we'll talk a bit about the objections that have been raised with regards to the representatives on the opposite side. If you notice, no members of the public have made any objection. They are in support of this application. In fact, that PDF has been sent to you, but you haven't had the opportunity to see it, which is fair, but it's available to you if should you wish to check it and verify it. But I must say that the actual objection is not based on the licensing objectives themselves, because what's happened here is that it's actually the shop next door. And that's, it's not compromised in that sense, because it's just not fair to say that it's basing it on licensing objectives, because if that was the case, then the police would straight away have a thing to say, have something to talk about or anything, but they have not actually made any kind of opinion to this, okay? With regards to the noise levels that has been mentioned, potentially hindering neighbors or community, again, no such thing has happened. Another link was sent to you as well prior this week, probably about 4 or 5 days ago. Unfortunately, you've not had a chance to see it. Evidence is shown on police.uk because we contacted the police. There's not been evidence of any noise nuisance and antisocial behavior in this area, meaning this parade, where all these businesses are. So there's no evidence of such things. Otherwise, again, we would have an objection raised by the individual local authority, in this case, the Environment Authority, or Trading Standards Authority. What's happened here is that it's just been brought up in a sense that they don't really want competition, and that's not what encourages communities, because community should have a choice, customers should have a choice, and what this is happening is where there's restriction of choice. In fact, this store next door wasn't open in the later hours at all. They started opening later hours and giving choice to customers only after our family here started opening, when they came owners of that premises 2 years ago. So that's the only reason that they decided to do it. They didn't do it through choice. They did it because they felt that that competition would downgrade their business perhaps, or maybe customers would go away from them to the next door. But the thing is, they weren't licensed, so it shouldn't have made any difference. But one thing important, again, you've not had a chance to see, is that the local community in social media, you may believe it or not believe it, but they've taken to that, and they are actually supporting the applicants. And in good faith, They haven't been coerced in any way. This is natural, and this is something that they've decided to talk about themselves. I think the DPS just mentioned earlier on something about being charitable and everything. They've actually donated towards the local primary school soft drinks whenever they have events. They pay for match fees when there's a football match. So they're a community engagement business, okay? The other thing to talk about is that you're talking about late hours. 3 takeaways are in the same parade, but they open till late hours. And there's not been any sign of any noise nuisance as such. So the businesses are all run in harmony. So there hasn't been any issue as such at all. But I'm going to leave it at that. I think my time's coming up now. But they're the points that I've raised, and I'm sure they will come up again right now. But I'm happy to answer any questions at this point. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll stop there. That's great. Okay, firstly, do any members of the subcommittee have any questions for the applicant? Councillor Clark, Councillor Jordan. Okay.
Thank you for your presentation. You've been obviously a storekeeper for a long time, so I'm going to ask you a question and hopefully you'll be able to answer it. And it is around safeguarding and alcohol. If you could tell me something about what you've learnt about safeguarding and alcohol and selling to minors, please.
I mean, overall for objective or for license objective for them. Yes, crime and disorder we have in place already in CCTV in good place and 24 hours recording, and that in we have it for right time, right people on there when in the crucial time and the busiest time. I'll make sure always I'm the license DPS code always there. Even I have alcohol or not, even the evening and the even weekend, most of the time I'm in the shop, make sure everything trading properly. In the public safeties, the new logics and the 1 meter door I won't put in the place now. Before come to the roll out the government, the now government needed for 1 meter door in the safety ways. The public safety are put in place already, and that make sure my staff are trained in for the health and safeties and food safety training, everything in the recording, and train them, upskill them, myself and my staff for safety ways, and then preventing from kids, the children from the harms. So I'll make sure whoever coming for bunch of people, the group of people, I don't order them, sell them for any of the, such a energy drinks under 16, I don't sell them. Even the babes or cigarettes or anyone asking me without ID, no sale, no sales, no ID, no sales, sorry, sales. So everything strictly we follow the rules in the governments and the licensing rules in place already. Because of previous experience, I'm bringing it to my own family business as well. Because that's a culture, better to follow for only not for me, this is for my community. I have kids as well, 3 kids. If I'm say my kids go and having the energy rings for under 16, I won't allow them. I'm not allowing them for others. That's my strictly plan on there. So, example. Yeah, you can show that if you want. If you want it, I got some training records you can.
Question for me: are you looking to increase your hours of your opening hours as a result of this application?
Sorry. Currently, I'm 6 to 10 because of 6 o'clock. I had to open newspaper. So we're doing with the newspaper delivery in the houses. We had to open on 6 o'clock. So we are currently closing by 10 o'clock. There's a customer request. My community, my people request stay open later. That's why we are come to the consultation to open up later. After you, when the council is saying for the subcommittee saying for the what time we had to open up for the licensing, then according to your rules, I'm going to follow them. That's what I'm here.
Okay. Thank you for that. Okay.
Fine, thank you.
All right, finish with members' questions. So do any officers present, licensing or legal, have any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, you mentioned you've got CCTV and you're going to keep it for 28 days. Can I just check, how is that going to be reviewed? Is it possible for, if there was an incident, for the local authority to review it, look at it? Is it going to be saved or is it disposed of?
Yeah, definitely. So our recording this, we can burn the CD or we can put him on the USP. So, however, then the police officers or any relevant teams come with the ID, we can provide it.
And that's kept for a period of 28 days or so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, do any of the people who've made representations have any questions for the applicant? Now, just to stress, this is for questions only. You have an opportunity to make a statement in your next slot. Thank you.
Yes, I do have a question. It was regarding the landlord's consent to apply for the license. Do you have any proof? Have you provided any proof, the written proof that you have a consent from the landlord?
Yeah, we do have it in the email. Also, we paid them to, the amended for the leasing. We have a
This
proof, yes.
property is managed by a managing agent called Chaffins. We've spoken to the managing agent and they're saying that nothing such has been granted. That is totally verbal on the phone call that we had. So there's a clause in the lease which would not let conflict take place. The joining businesses owned by the same landlord is a kind of a standard kind of clause in the leases that would prevent joining businesses carrying out main activities which is done by the neighboring businesses, just to kind of cause an end to the
It's in
conflict.
email.
Respond.
Yeah, it is in
Sorry,
the
you
emails.
guys can respond to that. Yeah,
Sorry.
thank you.
So, sorry. It is in the emails. They've been confirmed. If they won't confirm, I'm not gonna go for apply for it. I don't want to wasting up my time and your times. That's why I'm here, because of I know everybody times are important. So there was writing the emails. They confirm we can go ahead apply from the council for the licensing. That's why we done it. That's why we follow the process and everything. If you wanted to see that, I can forward to you, or you can have a look at it in the email anyway.
So what you're saying, if I understand correctly, is that you're confident that you have the appropriate consents, and that if you didn't have the appropriate consents, then you wouldn't be proceeding with this application. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. Other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you. We'll move on then. So, interested parties, this is now your opportunity, inviting you to address the subcommittee for no more than 20 minutes in total. I remind you that representations must be relevant to the 4 licensing objectives. Again, 20 minutes, and we understand that may be shared between the two of you, but 20 minutes in total, starting from now. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and the remaining members of the committee. As I said, my name is Mohammed, so I can be addressed as Mohammed. This is a small village. It's got several small shops, and mostly in this parade of shops, most of the shops are doing that trade exclusively, so there's hardly any competition. I think that's due to the clause in the lease, which every tenant has, that you're not allowed to carry out any activities which are the main activities of your neighboring businesses. So it's a very nicely balanced area. The people living nearby, they have access to all the amenities that they need. For example, my client, Mr. Singh's shop's main activity is the post office, which is a vital service that is providing for the village itself and the surrounding villages. There isn't any post offices in the surrounding villages, so it's a vital service. When people live in villages for mostly one reason and one reason only, because they like peace and quiet. They don't like the hustle and bustle of the cities. And the reason of the hustle and bustle is the commercialization of the shops, clubs, pubs, blah, blah, blah. So it is not in the public interest that this license is granted. My client had as soon as the application went in and he found out about it, he had a petition which was signed by more than 150 people in objection to this application. It was submitted and has been acknowledged that it was seen by the licensing officers, I believe. So coming back to the main 4 objectives, the license objectives, Obviously, the police no authorities have given any representation, and the reason for that is because everything is running nice and smooth right now. And because Mr. Singh has obviously been operating his off-license business in very controlled manner, and there's not been any complaints. So the police don't know about anything about any sort of breaches or any kind of antisocial behavior, etc. There's not been any reports, so they wouldn't know about it, so they would not be concerned. So that's one of the reasons why nobody's made it any objections. We believe that license objectives will be undermined if this license is granted. And the reasons are because that will, obviously they've applied for a license to serve alcohol till 11 p.m. Most of the shops in this parade, including Mr. Singh's off license, is operating only till 10 because of the surroundings, just to keep the people happy. All the fast food takeaways and other outlets, they close by sort of 10 o'clock as well. So I think going even 1 hour later will be impactful on the local community. And that could more and more off license, as I'm from Peterborough. I've been in local politics, and I've heard a lot of complaints about antisocial behavior later. I'm referring to Lincoln Road in particular, where at one time they would not allow sort of 3 shops in a row to do any kind of non-retail kind of business. But they changed all that, and now you've got off licenses, coffee shops, which have been, obviously they sell alcohol as well. So they're like pubs and bars in a way, they play loud music and everything. But once those licenses were granted, now it's not quite easy to undo. So there's this number of breaches, but the authorities just cannot cope. They've issued far too many licenses. They've got minimum member of staff who are enforcing these licenses, and they just cannot cope. So my point is that because at the moment there's only one outlet, everything's nice, running nice and smooth and in a controlled manner. More and more licensing, off license being issued will create more issues directly to do with the licensing objectives. For example, more and more shops and retail stores selling alcohol will promote alcohol, and that could lead to disturbances within the community, increase in alcoholics. I've seen in other areas where there's a lot of off-licensing or late night serving of alcohol. There's beggars, there's homeless people, there's drunk people being served again and again.
Yeah, just to interrupt, I mean, you are kind of getting into the realms of speculation here. We really want to focus on, you know, the on the ground reasons. You describe this particular parade as being fairly quiet and peaceful at the moment. I'm getting that from both sides, and that's great. But what we want to hear is why, you know, in the context of this particular parade of shops, why the applicant having applicable license is going to, you know, specifically impact on the parade and the well-being of this particular bit of Sawtry.
Yeah, I am moving on to that now. I'm actually into it right now. So we strongly believe that the licensing objectives will be undermined, and those are, leading those things. Late night opening will cause people to hang about more, will cause more nuisance, littering, etc. As far as public nuisance is concerned, which is obviously one of the licensing objectives, I've seen evidence that there is the applicant has suggested that they will to do with littering, that they will clean the external part of the building. I've seen evidence that it's got overflowing bins. It's got a fridge which is out of use, parked at the rear of the building, which is a quite tall building. It could fall over with the winds, could cause public harm. And there's also I've actually got some photographic evidence if anybody would like to see. There are some tiles like these, ceiling tiles, just dumped at the back of the shop irresponsibly. So I mean, even though they suggest that they're gonna carry out the activities and clean the external area, but it's just speculations. It's very unlikely there's going to be done. The evidence is there to suggest that. Protection of children from harm is very important. I think that's a very important objective. Even though the applicants suggest that they have got a number of measures in place, but I totally throw that out the window, because there has been rumors at the beginning that they are serving vapes and tobacco products to underage children. And right now, in my possession, I have evidence where they have served an underage minor with a vape. And if you would like to see, I can present that to you. And if you like me to present a witness, I can provide a witness as well.
Yeah, no, I'm afraid we can't do that. It's got to be in the grounds of what's legal and what, if there have been any kind of criminal convictions on this area, then obviously that'd be very important in the context. But if they haven't been, then it's just kind of word of mouth, really. So anyway, continue.
Yeah, I have documentary evidence to prove this. That a minor.
But I mean, I think the point is this hearing has to have all the evidence, the information presented to it in advance. So we can't take on new information at this point, I'm afraid.
Okay. Furthermore, moving away from the license objectives itself, there are other things that are quite important to the community as well. Like I mentioned before, my client is providing a vital service for the village and the surrounding villages. And even though a post office might sound like a big business, but it's not a very rewarding business the way it is run now. And looking at his management accounts, I've picked up information that majority of his sales from alcohol are supporting the post office, because post office is not being very rewarding, and the alcohol sales are like 40% or thereabouts of his profits, and they are helping to keep the post office running and providing that service to the community. And if somehow the alcohol sales were not supporting his other part of the business, then it's possible that he could not be able to. It might not be viable for him to run a post office, which will be a huge loss to the local community, because there isn't a post office nearby, I don't think. Further than that, I don't have anything else to say, other than at the moment my client is running his business till 10 p.m. and I think his license is till 11, yeah? But he still is deliberately reducing 1 hour of trade just for the neighborhood. So there is no rise of any complaints or any issues. Yeah, I don't have anything further to say.
Okay, thank you very much. That's helpful information. Okay, so questions for the interested parties. Firstly, do members of the subcommittee have questions?
Thank you for your presentation. So you have a licence at the moment, and those licensing hours are for?
Licensing hours are from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m.
7 to 11 p.m. And can you tell me, apart from the post office, what else you sell?
Just confectionery, soft drinks, vapes, yeah, we sell vapes, tobacco products.
Do you sell vapes and
Yeah,
cigarettes?
we do sell vapes, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Officers, do you have any questions for the interested parties? Thank you, William. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Just need to clarify that there was a statement made with regards to a petition with 150 signatures being acknowledged by the licensing team. The petition was rejected by the licensing team, which is why it's not formed part of the agenda pack today, as the petition didn't cover any of the licensing objectives. It was a petition of support for the post office. So it was categorically rejected, not acknowledged. Thank you.
I do have another question. Has the police ever been called to that parade because of alcohol, vaping, antisocial behaviour?
Is anybody police present here?
few time happen.
Just use that.
Someone stole and run away.
Yeah, just theft, I think. Just theft from the shop. Yeah. That's
Thank you. Is that everything from officers? Yep. Thank you. Okay, the applicants. So you have the opportunity now to ask questions to the interested party team. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So there was mentioned about the bins outside, tiles are lying outside. I was noticed that as well, not belong to mine. I think there's some of the takeaway people who done the upstairs ceilings. So they are one. Whatever my area rubbish, I'm always make sure opposite my shop, there's a council bin there. I'm the ones make sure always cleaning because of right opposite my shop. Another things, the council who doing for the weekly twice for the cleaning. I got the bag from the red bags, Huntingdon Council bags, the red bag. I was asked them give you some bag because of the bins, because of the takeaway. When they buy one pizza box, they eat and put it on the box, pull up the bins straight away. So that's a lying down. I'm the person cleaning the area always because of I don't want to put the little on front of my shop. So also you can my advisor is support the evidence. You can see the Facebook evidence, which is I'm always supporting for the community. Whoever they're doing for the cleaning and everything, I'm offer them drinks and offer them bags. They know how I'm keeping for my area. Another things they was mentioned about one of the fridge was lying on the back of the area. Yes, it is because I'm changing according the rules of the energy save fridges I put it on my shop, which is the door. So that one is old one. I kept it on there to collect it for the metal people. So this not the heaviest one. I can't not able to do it for my one man. Remove for the one man. That's why even though that's not the public place, that is the opposite front of my garage, which is my storage, not any other place. That's belong to there. He was saying about that we are selling more underage babes. There's any evidence because of I think I was Mr. Singh staff who work in there. Personally, I told them so. There's a kids that come there asking for the energy drinks under 16. I was rejected, me and my staff. They went to the next door and get the rings and come to me and saw him in the window. Look, boss, about it. Then I told them, personally, I called them inside. Look, come here. I got the kids as well. I can't save you. If you buy from them, keep it up. Don't come and show me. I know your parents. I will talk to your parents. Then I talk to the parents as well. That's how I am with the community.
Okay, we've kind of heard accusations in both directions, and that, that's not quite exactly what we're looking for here. What we're really looking for is the opportunity to ask questions to the interested parties on the basis of the information they provided. I accept that you've covered a couple of the points that they raised just now, which is absolutely fine. But if there's anything else in terms of a question to the interested parties, thank you.
Well, I'll directly to you so you can. If there's any evidence that you have, did you present it to the police or any other party?
The evidence was only collected today, so we were not able to hand it over to anybody. And we have it with us if anybody would like to view it. I think it is quite important because the decisions made today will have impact on the wider community for many, many years to come.
Okay, do you have any other questions for the interested parties? No? Okay, thank you. We now should... do we have any written representations from people who have not been able to attend today? Claire, at all?
Sorry?
Do you have... may I now invite the applicant or his representative to sum up the application for 5 minutes maximum, just to support your application, please. We don't introduce any new evidence at this stage, just recap the main points of your application. Okay, thank you.
From Mr. Satishwaran as the DPS proposed, and his wife as the applicant. It's a family business that's been run for the last 2 years. You've heard everything there is about his responsible retailing in the past. He's going forward, he's also going to be a responsible retailer. He's implemented all the licensing objectives already. Really, summing up, really, this is a family business, orientated business. So he means to do well in the community. He's already been sponsoring and donating in the community, and he knows that this is a community business. And we know that the licensing objectives will not be undermined because we've implemented everything that was required, which is the main reason why we've not had any objections from the authorities or members of the public. This is merely an objection to do with competition and to reduce competition, which is unfair to the local community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we move on to item 6, which is the exclusion of the press and the public, the subcommittee will now retire to deliberate. The council's legal advisor will provide legal advice and to record the subcommittee's decision. We are unclear how long deliberations will take. Our decision will be sent out to you all in writing as soon as possible. If you do want to wait around, you're welcome to do so. The choice is yours, but we don't know how long it'll take to make our decision. All parties have the right to appeal to the Magistrates' Court within 21 days of the decision. Ian, is there anything else you want to add?
No, thank you. That's everything.
Thank you. That just leads me to thank you all for your attendance today, and we'll move on. 6, exclusion. Members.